Well, it's an interesting game, this one, right? You go in, you're back in Team Bliss. They beat, of course, Circular Spheres last week, same map, 7-3, so they only showed 10 rounds. They'll be beaming with confidence, but there is that underlying pressure. It's just bubbling in the background. They know they are the team now to lose their spot at the major. They're in pole position. It's theirs to lose. Aerial Rise, they'll be looking to play spoils.
Is this a trap game?
Maybe.
Okay, that was a very quick answer. Do you want to elaborate maybe on why maybe?
Look at the experience for Aerial Rise, right? Nate has popped off. Wettables, a lot of experience. Smacker maybe not quite as much. Hayward coming back into the fray. Supremacist has been around a long time. Aerial Rise, again, we framed them a couple of times this way. They're a team with the pieces. If they put it together, they link it together, they have one good day. That's all it takes. And that completely throws Team Bliss into a spiral. So it could be a danger game, but it's not the only dangerous game really for Bliss. Every game in a best of one single round robin is. Carlton's Knights next week. That could be very, very dangerous the way they've shown up recently. And Wildcard, big game to close things out.
Last time we saw Aerial Arise, they took down NQS 7-3 rather comfortably. That big on Clubhouse and has them out at a 2-2 record, so standing pretty strong. And now they get themselves an opportunity to cause a major upset. I will say this. There is a lot of Aerial Arise fans. Not the ones in North America.
Really?
No.
Where have you seen them?
They are in a couple of different jerseys right now. Wildcard being one, Circular Spheres being another, and Homeless. They are all massive Aerial Arise fans, all of a sudden.
And why is that, Jake?
Well, of course, they need Bliss to lose. Everyone needs Bliss to lose, because right now, Bliss have themselves one hand on the ticket to the major, and provided that they go undefeated for the rest of the stage, they will be able to have two hands on said ticket.
Well, so they've got one hand on the ticket. What's the other hand doing?
Trying to play games, I guess.
So Bliss are playing one-handed right now.
I guess.
I mean, maybe that'll keep things close.
Look, the point is, though, they need Bliss to lose. It's as clear as that. Aerial Arise are close enough, technically, that on a good day, maybe they could cause a big upset, a big boil over. We'll see. We head to border, Bliss on the attack first, and you can basically summarize they're actually based on the bans, right? And the operator bans. This is going to be fast-moving. We want to see teams get map control, and you take out operators like Solus and Valkyrie for information, Yana obviously for entry, Lion for entry. That's what Border's going to bring.
Now, last time we saw some really good pre-placed drones from Bliss, and we'll see similar ones employed. Aerial Rise, if they were expecting this map, probably watched the VOD and are aware of some of these positions. And Wet showing his presence of mind, currently locking down that customs position. And a decent start from Aerial Rise. They haven't allowed anyone to slip in just yet, but as I say, that
2 minutes
Jigsaw
15 on the clock.
in Passport.
You're praising them already. It is Bliss.
To be fair, you got to take what you can get.
Jigsaw on the roam. Bottom of waiting. Oh, gets the ping, but obviously on the other side of the wall. Goes for it anyway. No real contact yet on a map like Border, but it is intriguing the way that Aerial Arise are kind of set up for this one. A little bit of vert down below being established through Smack, and you can do that obviously towards the bathrooms because he's on that Oryx. Oda finds the opening kill. Does get traded though. The man has been on a rampage so far in the Oceania League, rated as one of the highest players in this region.
Well, in the world.
All right.
We heard it on the desk. Come on.
First it was Jigsaw, which now you're telling me Jigsaw's not the best player in the world, guys. What happened?
Well, I think
2 weeks ago he was the best.
Well, he's bumped down to, I think, outside the top 10.
Oh, no. Big drop off.
Well, that said, Bliss do have 3 players that are rated higher than Wettables, currently the top rated for Aerial Rise. So it does show that Bliss are on another level right now.
60 seconds left in this opening round. And no real control established here for Team Bliss, in fairness. Only just now, established over towards break room. There is still a player inside of security. That's going to be the Azami of Supremacist. Goes prone. Wettable helps out. Gets a big kill there onto Brendo. And he should get a second one here as well. He was just sitting there watching Sage for what felt like a lifetime. Jigsaw over towards top east stairs. He is now going to have to go pretty big. Pushes in through offices. 30 seconds left on the clock here. Fisher does have the diffuser, but Aerial Arise are by far and away in a much better position to start here on Border.
Yeah, that hold over towards security, causing problems for Team Bliss, and Fisher doesn't really feel comfortable going for plant, rightly so. Goes deep, no trade. Jigsaw taken down. Is there something in this one?
It's only the opening round, and we saw it obviously on Bank in our game prior. For those that missed it, Mammoth got out to a Mammoth lead of 4-1 over Wildcard. And Wildcard, though, then turned it around and well, they went to overtime, but basically won 5 in a row, and we thought the game was going to be over from there. Regardless, the point is, it's early days. But good signs. And that's probably all we're after here for Aerial Arise as a team is middle of the pack. You want to be better than the other teams, sort of bottom 3, but you want to be competing against the top 3, top 4. You really want to be in those games. That's where they've got to be at this stage. And I'll tell you what, it's a good start against a team like Team Bliss on a map like Border, which, especially with Bliss on the attack, can probably bode well for a team like Bliss to get good map control, get those early contact fights, win their ones, especially Oda, Jigsaw, Sage, Brendo, so many fraggers. Yeah. It's the kind of map that really can enable them.
Yeah, I guess that it makes it surprising that we are heading to this particular location, but Aerial Rise in the last round doing a good job locking down positions like CCTV. That push was quite late from Bliss, and Supreme did a good job in just wasting a bit of time, and Wet able to cover a 3K from him in the first round, boding well for the rest of the roster to look and play around that. But we expect now a snappy response from Bliss. Very rarely do they let games spiral out of control, and they'll be looking to assert dominance once more in this matchup. Jigsaw, again, very similar to that game against Circular Spheres, is continuing to look for that entry through Passport to try and unlock the map.
And it's a pretty similar setup as well for Aerial Arise. Extension above, a lot of presence over towards Armory, bit of Archives. You've got one over towards Security as well with Supremacist. He's got the hatch he can open up if need be. So that means that Bliss have got to push up above. They've got to clear. And that's where really Border is going to show itself, is those early fights will be prevalent. Pushing into these key areas, getting established over towards East Stairs. Again, same kind of roam from Jigsaw. This time, though, goes into Towers, avoids East Stairs, and looks to maybe put a bit of pressure horizontally here, pushing over towards Customs.
Well, there's that Banshee in lobby as well, so that's certainly a direct counter from Smacker. And Jigsaw, I think, just second questioning that push. But he can still position himself inside of Towers, and on the topic of Smacker, he finds a kill.
Oh, that's big.
Diffuser down.
And hard breach, only hard breach.
Oof.
So it's a double whammy there, unfortunately, for Team Bliss, but Jigsaw lurking in bathrooms. Is there an opportunity? Nate, inside of Workshop, but are they aware of Jigsaw's very perilous position here? He's got a really good angle being watched in towards Workshop, but obviously the vert established below. Maybe he's waiting for the drop. Is that what the pressure up above? Waiting for the drop and then push in. This might catch them well and truly off guard. The Bliss execute is on perfect. Oh, they don't even know what just hit them, Aerial Arise.
And that's the Bliss we've come to expect on this map. Even with Fisho dying and some really good, powerful positions being held, Jigsaw was allowed to just sneak through. And his cue is when there's a pick above, or if the pressure is down on the players below, he can use the sound coverage to push through. He gets a free kill, the rest of the team mops up, and in the blink of an eye, I think from start to finish, that was probably less than 5 seconds, round over.
Yeah. And considering when you have a round like that as well, where you get the opening kill on the hard breach who has diffuser outside, you probably at that point start to think, oh, maybe there's an opportunity. We've got ourselves into a really, really good position here. But credit to Jigsaw, and that's twice now. He's been able to just roam through waiting for free. No one's watching him. And then this time he was smart enough to just push through Towers, eventually into bathroom, and get a good sight line in towards Workshop. Read the play perfectly. There was absolutely no pressure because Aerial Arise's defense was more focused above on the vert and on the hatches. They completely just left bathroom, Towers open, and Jigsaw abused it. Abused it well and understood a bit of the win condition there too as well for Aerial Arise. That hatch, that drop, he's ready for it. He was basically one step ahead. I mean, really the whole team, Bliss, were just one step ahead of Aerial Arise, even though Aerial Arise thought they were 2 steps ahead by getting rid of the hard breacher. Head into the third round, and Bliss have basically already shown them what can happen when they're at their best. They will be hard to beat. Aerial Arise just have to keep being plucky Keep getting these opening picks. Keep hoping that Bliss stumble along the way in these rounds and pinch a couple of rounds and just put a bit of scoreboard pressure on.
Well, just like every round before it, Jigsaw, Passport, hand in hand. Aerial Rise will probably need to try and find a way to mitigate the amount of control that this position can establish. And again, the drone work from Bliss, it's great. A player spotted main stairs, but not quite caught. And they can begin to constrict this half of the map. Puts a lot of emphasis now on Aerial Rise up above. Things like the east stairs hold, 90 control as well. Armory as well being posted up on. But Jigsaw now, he'll sit and wait. He'll wait for his teammates to go above to push out these positions. He can sit and wait and look to find kills in tandem with the player next door. That's Fisho. Brendo finds the first. And Aerial Rise, whether they know it or not, are not in a very good position.
No, it doesn't help now that you've lost your Asami as well. Those keeper barriers not regenerating. Oh, it's a freebie for Smacker. It's a freebie for Smacker. Yes, indeed. Fisho just gets a little bit lackadaisical. It should have been almost another one. He peeks before he's got the gun ready. That costs him. That gives a free kill to Sage. Jigsaw then follows up elsewhere on the map, and suddenly, again, in the span of 5-10 seconds, Bliss just turned around on his head.
Ooh, Hayward though. That's something. First kill in the game. The swing though, wet. Really wanted to get himself into this round, but unfortunately now Hayward 1v3 over towards server, and this is a very difficult cross to make to site.
Yeah, virtually impossible now for Hayward. Does have the experience, been around for a long time, but all the sight lines are in favor of Bliss, and Brendo will take advantage of this one from waiting, and that will be a 2-1 start now in the first 3 rounds of this half. Bliss will be pretty happy with the way things have shaped up. First round, obviously they would have been a little bit disappointed with themselves because they probably let themselves down with that opening attack. But since then, the last 2 rounds have been pretty darn clean. And Aerial Rise have not really had much of a look in. At that point, minute and a half, 4 versus 4. But look at this from Smacker. Just that little bit too early. Tiny, tiny little bit too early. It's the difference between being able to get the kill or falling. And in the end, he falls. Ultimately, though, Aerial Rise not as contested in these last 2 rounds as the first.
Yeah, so I guess at this point, right, it's probably fair to say that the first round was a blip on the radar for Bliss, because from there it's been a quick turnaround, and they've looked a lot snappier, much like that Circular Spheres game last week where the pressure was really on them to perform. It was quite a close matchup, and then they were able to run home with it. So the ball in the court of Aerial Rise, and the small 1%ers continuing now to go the way of Team Bliss. They need to start focusing, I think, a little bit more on denying Jigsaw on that entry Passport. There's a couple of lurks elsewhere, like we saw Fish able to get in pretty uncontested as well. That is causing issues through the mid-round. It puts pressure on those extending because then they fear their way back towards side and being able to assist players on the objective. So, yes, it's an intertwined set of issues here for Aerial Rise at the moment. So we'll see how they compete.
Not really changing a whole lot up, but they do bring the frost this time through Hayward. Still Supreme on that Azami. 0-2 it though. Not able to find any kills. Was holding security for a couple of the first rounds. Team Bliss just have been a lot smoother in their gameplay. Everything that they've done just looks a little bit more calculated at the moment, and that's the way it needs to be on a map like Border as well. And Jigsaw, though, he's been the one that is just basically heading straight to site. He's not worrying too much about having to roam clear, top floor, vert. He is just very much given that license to put pressure on site. And he's been doing a significantly good job at it so far, but there is his position being watched by Supreme. Won't have the angle unless Jigsaw pushes in, which I don't think he will. He certainly would want to push in blind.
Well, and that's a good thing, right? Because now Team Bliss may need to adjust their plan. If Jigsaw can't get in there, what's the backup plan for Bliss? Because a lot of the attacks are headed from this position. A lot of the map control is important from this position. And Aerial Rise now direct countering it. So we're going to see pressure elsewhere from Bliss. Up above, Armory control has been forfeited by the defense. But a heavy stack, Fountain, Office, vert control down below towards site. So we'll see how Bliss go about clearing it. But the live droning, absolutely perfect, and Brendo will get that kill for free.
Yeah, Hayward gets droned out. Brendo's going to get another one here as well.
Oh,
that
what?
was disgusting. He had the intel from the drone.
Oh.
He had it from the drone, and he basically knew the player was there. Still, even with that said, that is an incredible shot.
Yeah. Jeez.
6-2 for Brendo. He was traded, 4 versus 3. Bliss have got the man advantage, but Aerial Arise, with 3 on, you think that they can maybe still win this round. Fisho wanting to clear Supreme. Top east stairs has the Kiba barriers. Now, Fisho's got to be careful though. His diffuser drops at the top in a very, very awful position if he dies. I think he makes the right call here and backs off that. Gets someone else to push in instead. 1 for 1. Supreme does a good job of holding top east stairs. He did his job on the defense, Gus, but everyone else has fallen apart. Site open. Jigsaw straight into Tellers now. Oh,
you see
doesn't
him!
Spot him! Doesn't spot him at all. Supreme eventually does die to Jigsaw. We'll see it on the replay.
He's laughing. He saw it. Now, you can't play 4-3 on that. That was definitely insight.
When you're tunneled in and you're just focusing.
I mean, can we get a measurement? How close is he to his monitor, you reckon? Do you reckon he could, like, just give it a little touch on the nose?
Well, watch it back, because you noticed it before even I did.
Yeah, well.
Which is probably expected.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What we don't expect is Jigsaw to miss it.
No.
That was a great shot from Brendo.
Well, Wet definitely didn't see that one coming. Straight through the wall with the flick. And honestly, I think he deserved the third there. Supreme, to his credit, hit a nice shot.
Ironically, the easier option would have been to get the kill on Supreme, crab walking.
Oh, here we go.
Well, to be fair, you at home, if you look at that reticule, you're not really noticing that tiny little Azami in the corner right.
That's why he's not the best player in the world anymore.
Oh, jeez. He did get the kill. He did get the kill, and he has been playing very well so far in this game. He's basically abused that passport and waiting area, and he's made Aerial Arise's defense look a little bit silly, especially in that vicinity. Supreme, though, to his credit, held top east stairs really well. But to keep the barriers as well, that was a position he did not give up. Even forced Fisher guy to think about, top waiting. Okay, I got to fall back a little bit here. I don't want to push that. He dies. That's Diffuser in a bad spot. And then if the Diffuser goes down there, you basically don't have to move from east stairs. But as this game has got on, Bliss are looking more and more comfortable here on border. And we are starting to sort of really highlight. Now, Jigsaw goes onto the Nook. He hasn't even been on the Nook. Now you go onto the Nook. Now he's going to still be able to do what he's doing, but more silently.
Again, the drones, the pre-place from Bliss, causing issues. Wettables will be called out. Had the advantage, the initiative in that initial engagement, but Jigsaw, he survives. And Sage now looking to enclose in on this position. Wettables now elsewhere. Jigsaw in the map. Early pressure again from Bliss. And even Oda, right? Statistically, the best player in the world, still sitting drones a minute into the round.
Hey, he's 4-1, mate. He can do what he wants.
Exactly. I was saying it as a positive.
Good.
It's more so directed at
Well, when I sit drones, it's not a positive.
It was more so directed at the ashes of the world that never sit on drones. Not everything's about you.
Hey, it's not as bad as last night with our wonderful observer Sky sitting on his drone while I'm in a 1v1.
Oh,
he just has to get off the drone and swing.
No, we're not talking. We're not bringing that one up again.
His head. I'm looking at him right now. Jigsaw gets the opening kill. Brendo, and this game is starting to just really fall apart now for Aerial Arise. It's got that sense that maybe the first round gave us a little bit of belief, but that belief has well and truly evaporated now. Bliss are firmly in control on border. And Weartable's just barely able to stay alive. Over towards all officers. He might be able to get one here, and should. Never mind. Brendo!
What?
Leave some for the rest of them, mate. He's up to 8-2. Minute left, 5 versus 2, and Team Bliss are just having a training run.
Nate unable to land the trade. Team Bliss just looking far superior in this game. That first round, well, it was just a warm-up, and now Nate still struggling to find these kills, getting so unlucky, but finally he falls. Hayward, 1v5. Spray on the second. But it's Jigsaw to land it. Team Bliss winning round 5.
Yeah, and it's all just smooth sailing. No pressure now. There's no contest here. This game's over. Tactical timeout from Wettables. 4-1. 4 in a row as well now for Team Bliss. And it's not like these rounds have been close. Like we're not really seeing like counter diffusers. We're not really seeing Aerial Arise bring it to like 1v1s or 2v2s. We're not seeing scrappy siege. Just clean, clinical slaughter from Team Bliss. And we did Southeast Asia last night. I tell you what, we didn't see anything like that.
No.
From what we've seen from Bliss tonight. It's been far and above what we saw last night. So they're on a really, really good level right now. And they've just got to make sure that they can keep this consistency going heading into the major, because that's where they will be going if they keep up this. They play Carlton's Knights and Wildcard.
If they play like this, they're going. I mean, I don't think there's too many question marks over that at this point, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't just a... Some people may look at that and listen to that comment and be like, yeah, well, they're not really versing the strongest of teams. But they did the same against Circular Spheres, who arguably were the second best team at the time on the same map, where they just maybe had the odd round here or there where it didn't quite click. Every other round in which they won, for the most part, was basically decisive, wiping the floor, playing really well. Key players stepping up. And I think, for me, that's the thing that's so great about Bliss. Very rarely does anyone need to be carried. Now, the exception to that might be like Fisho, but 0-3. But I mean, he's on support. He doesn't have to worry too much. He's getting in good positions, making calls. It's just such a formidable quad combo. Oda, Jig, Sage, Brendo. They're just all literally insane.
Well, really good example there as well, right? Sometimes, especially when you kind of look at Fisho's position, you're hard bridge, you have diffuser, and you're pushing like top waiting, and you want to get maybe east airs control. That's not your job. And we saw him fall off that. So he's not even in a position. He doesn't even put himself in that position to go for that kill, because that's not his role. So he's playing the ultimate team sacrifice. And it's very much important that obviously people are aware of that it's not all about just the kills. It's not all about the KDA. These support players are doing things that sacrifice their own statistics. And unfortunately, there is no real statistic for those kind of acts.
Look, if I could go to the major and never get a kill, I would not be complaining. I'd be more than happy.
Hey, maybe there's hope for me after all.
Maybe. Maybe one day.
Well, out the back of this tactical timeout, we'll see if Aerial Arise can respond. I don't think 4-2... Well, to be fair, it depends on how you want to kind of rate Border. Like, is it a 3-3 kind of map, 4-2 in favor of the attack? I think a team like Bliss, though, you would expect 4-2, 5-1 for them on the attack. So if Aerial Arise win this final round and a half, bring it to 4-2, out the back of the tactical timeout, have a breather, go into the second half, you start attacking, it might just reset things a little bit. So very important round here for them to just hold on, get around, keep that scoreboard ticking over, and break this streak of Team Bliss, who have now won 4 rounds in a row. And they've completely barricaded off waiting.
I wouldn't mind just a Brendo round where we just like watch Brendo for like the majority. I just want to see how he's getting these kills, man, because I think he's getting fed a lot of information, but we're seeing it now as well, right? He's also gaining information himself. So that's Oryx spotted. Could be some pressure from Vert, from Jigsaw. And Brendo's now just gonna keep lurking around and finding really favorable positions, and we've seen him be so sharp. And now at the disadvantage, let's see this Bliss activate. Brendo. Oh, it would be good timing. He knows we're
watching. He knows we're watching.
I know. Sorry.
Even with the ping. So that's Supreme over towards security once again. It's obviously Sage that's fallen early. And minute 15. But a good example here of course, now Team Bliss having to just move a little bit quicker. They don't have as much time to just slowly scour through the map. So through break now, Brendo goes, and security has been given over. So control now for Team Bliss. It is in their hands.
And this is the pause we often see from Bliss. They'll just gain a little bit more info, a little bit more ground, and then they will go bang. Nade for Jig. If he lands this, it could be really on here, but I don't think it will.
That's ambitious.
Live drone though. Fisho will clear the single wall to the right, and Jigsaw might be able to isolate that.
He didn't clear it, but the shots went out early from Haywood, and that gave away his position. Ooh. Knew that Supreme was there. He knew that he was going to get swung on, but Supreme played it well. Hit those shots. Winnable round now for Aerial Arise. Flashes out from Brendo. Looking for the remonstration. Knows there's one here over towards Fountain. They can double swing. Didn't matter. Fisher guy got the kill. Sometimes support can come in handy. Oda pushes through on the Twitch, and he finds an entry kill there on a Wettables. Oh, Nate falls too.
Man.
Oh, they've done it again. When the going gets tough, they get going. 5-1 lead for Team Bliss here on Border. Going into the second half, they are in cruise control.
Anything that's even remotely 50-50, even leaning in just to Aerial Arise some of these engagements, Bliss just aren't losing them. Like, I mean, that clear through office was great, right? The drone onto Jigsaw, so he hits that. Almost hits the second. I don't know how that wasn't a headshot. Must have hit neck. Supreme trades. Then you have 3 players isolating Fountain. You still have flashbangs going out. Oda then pushed through. We didn't see his POV, but he then got swung from Archive's door. Well, of course, he wins that. And then even on the cross, on the long angle, the long line of sight, which can be a little bit tricky as an attacker to win out, no issues. 5-1, the scoreline, and it's a little bit disappointing for Aerial Rise. That first round from them actually, retroactively, was really quite good.
It was.
And then everything since then, it's just been Bliss being far superior.
But it's also why I kind of made sure we just
Yeah.
kept it cool. It's only one round. Like, you know, this doesn't necessarily indicate a whole lot. But yeah, it does feel like it's a bit of a shame that they weren't able to sort of get more from that, or off of that, I guess. Either way, they get to at least now get their turn at the attack on border and see what they can do in picking apart this Team Bliss defense. But I can't help but imagine it's going to be largely the same. Armory in office to start with. Jigsaw on the Warden, probably will just roam as well. Why not? He doesn't have to be stuck on site, and already over towards waiting, and he stares. They got to double up. Sage and the cap can. EDDs have already been in place, and Jigsaw's on the move and on the roam, and now back over towards site. At the very least, though, what have Aerial Arise got? They've got the Nook, so Smacker's indicating already that he's going to want to go and roam clear.
Well, I don't think they're going to have much information. 3 drones down, so the pre-place has been dealt with relatively well, I can only presume, from Team Bliss, even with that Solace band out. Oryx in play, security as armor barrier to protect him from the single window. And Team Bliss eager to play contact. Now, it's around this timestamp where we often saw, whether it be Jigsaw or maybe Brendo, get control actually somewhere in the map to have some kind of presence. As far as I can tell, we haven't really seen that yet from Aerial Arise, so it's a testament to the pressure that Bliss are applying.
And the Nook's gone immediately. So that's maybe not a win condition for Aerial Arise, but it's a big way in them getting into this round, finding a couple of kills, entry, clearing some roamers. He falls rather early. But there's one back. So Sage loses his life for it in the end. And Brendo, though, in Bray, that's a wonderful kill. Almost got the second. Doesn't have to over-aggress this, but why not go for it? Wedables is down. He'll be aware of that. Ball goes out. Nate now falls 2. It's basically Hayward in a 1 versus 4. Zoda cleaned up Wedables. Of course, that kill going to his teammate anyway. Oda just lights up the kill feed. Oh dear for Oda. It's match point. 5 of them to Team Bliss. And I think that they are very much preparing for landing.
Well, you could just cut off the ding. They're preparing for land, Jake.
Ding, ding.
LAN. That's what they're ready
Ooh.
for. Yeah.
I see what you've done there.
Mm.
Well, Aerial Arise have never arisen. Never took off. Stalled at the runway. Got the opening round, and since then, they've been sitting on the tarmac. While Bliss have just ran circles around them.
Where'd the circles come from? Team Bliss, their logo is like a flower, I think, isn't it? It looks like a flower to me.
It is a flower.
Ah. Did Brandy tell you that?
Yes, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the whole origins around it, but we don't have time for that.
No.
We've only got
The
one
game's
more
going to be
round.
over soon.
We got one more
We've
round.
only got 3 minutes.
So shout out to Brandy and the Bliss organizations, because it's been a great year for them. It's been a good time as an org, and it's always good to see the local organizations, you know, giving in and helping out with the Oceanic Siege. We love it. And they stuck around.
They have been around for a while now.
They have.
And there would have been plenty of reasons, I think, for Bliss to have moved on. But they stuck with this team. They showed belief.
Yep.
And it's looking like they may be rewarded. But there are still 2 games after this one. 2 big games at that. It's not a done deal. This is not going to lock them in. Let's make that very clear.
But it is one more obstacle that has been circumnavigated.
Crushed.
2 more to go. Well, yeah, crushed. Yeah, they have done a little bit. They've absolutely just gotten the tank and just rolled over the obstacle.
Pretty much. And that's, again, no dig to Aerial Arise, because Bliss really are just on another level. Aerial Arise scrapped together at the last minute. And a couple of good performances. I think Supreme actually is for the most part, done a really good job here. He's held down a couple of really good spots and done some damage.
Do you think we should drop Logic from the stack and pick up Oda at this point?
He keeps dodging us.
Oh, Brendo. Well, maybe we'll go and ask Brendo, because he's up to 12 and 2.
Yep.
That is a demolishment. He's almost got the same amount of kills as all of Aerial Arise put together, guys. 12 to 14.
Machine.
And they got the player advantage on the defense here. It will mean that Aerial Arise are going to be stretched thin. Can't imagine there's much hope for them to keep this game going, to keep this one alive. This one will probably go in the books. In some ways, probably what we expected from our earlier matchup between Wildcard and Mammoth. That did not come to fruition, but this one certainly has. After an early round blip in the first half, that very first round of the game, since then, Bliss have won 6 in a row, looking to make it 7. But Hayward might have other ideas. Getting the elimination on to Fisher Guy. Jigsaw still just watching here in lockers. And now he gets a little bit antsy and he will find one. Never mind, Supreme takes his head off. Trades finally are going the way of Aerial Arise. Oda though, that's Diffuser down as well. 2 versus 2. But he knows there's 2 over towards Office. Is he aware of the pit? That's 1, that's 2. Almost Oda's down. Brendo and Wettables in a 1 versus 1. Wettables, of course, has to go back outside, get Diffuser, 40 seconds, and then get on site. Brendo not giving him any kind of information. Wettables is going for the kill. He's going hunting. Brendo gets up, then down, and around. Brendo wins it. Done. It's over. Bliss make it 7-1. They win 7 rounds in a row. It's almost like a little bit of a gentleman's sweep in a way. Wow. They edge closer to the major, Guz, and they are the rightful, apparent team to go from this region. For sure. They're the best we've got.
Yeah, just another clean step forward, right? They hardly put a foot wrong. 7 straight. Very well played. And